Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I want to talk about how you can change your life, get more clear on your goals, and figure out what your daily habits need to be in order to become the best version of yourself. So I'm going to be talking about the day in the life as my future self exercise on ChatGPT that a lot of people have been doing. You might have seen it on TikTok. A lot of my friends were talking about it. So the main reason I want to make this video is because I've been reading this book. It's called The Slight Edge. I have it here, and it was actually recommended by a finance YouTuber named Nisha. I can tag her in the description below. She recommended a few books that will change the way that you think, and at first I thought to myself, okay, I've read a lot of self-help books, and after a while they start to become a little repetitive, and I almost hesitated to give this book a chance, but I'm so glad that I read this book. In this book, Jeff, the author, basically talks about how the little things that you do every single day will add up. He compares it to compound interest. So basically in The Slight Edge, the author Jeff talks about how the daily habits and routines that you have and start in your earlier years will compound into greater achievements later on. And he also talks about how a lot of us are kind of looking for that breakthrough and like that viral moment. For a lot of people, it might be that they think that they're going to win the lottery one day. And he's just saying that instead of just waiting for that big breakthrough in this world that we live in, where everything just comes to us instantly, he says that the habits that you put into place now, or the little actions that you do every single day, are the ones that will compound into that. Another example of this would be exercising to lose weight. So on day one, if you work out for 30 minutes, you don't really see a difference. But say that you exercise 30 minutes every other day for 6 months straight. At the end of the 6 months, you will have lost some weight, or you will have seen a difference in your body. And why this book stood out to me specifically for this video is because he talks a lot about how a lot of people will invest in their self-development, but when it comes to their happiness, people will invest even more into that, because a lot of people would rather be happy more than anything else. And for myself, that's 100% true. I would rather be happy than a lot of other things that are that people are striving for. And if you're watching this video and you agree, then we are on the same page. He also talks about how the slight edge can be applied to happy habits and equals to success later on in life. So for example, this is something that I started doing about 4 years ago during the pandemic. It's when you write down 3 things that you're grateful for every single morning, and every single day you have to write down 3 new things. So it actually forces you to dig through your mind and find and it forces you to focus on the good parts of your life and the positive rather than the negative, because at that time we were going through a global pandemic. If you switched on the news, you would just see sad things about what's going on in other parts of the world and how much people are struggling. In some parts of the world, they didn't have access to healthcare. And also when I start my day by writing down 3 things that I'm grateful for, or 3 things that I'm looking forward to during my day, it also helped me start my day on a more positive note compared to just waking up, going on social media first thing in the morning, or even worse, going on the news first thing in the morning. I think that the way that you start your morning is the way that you're going to handle the rest of your day. So that is also another tip. Okay, so let's dive into the actual video. So if you want to apply the slight edge principles to become your future self, you need to start putting in the work today. The day in the life as my future self exercise is perfect to start doing that. And all you need is ChatGPT, which is free. So this is very simple, easy to do. So the first thing that you're going to do here is open ChatGPT. The main goal of this is to visualize what your future life is going to look like. This exercise is great if you're just feeling unmotivated, if you don't know, if you don't have a good sense of direction of where you're headed. It also helps you get more clear on your goals. So the very first thing that you're going to do is open up ChatGPT. If you're not using it already on a regular basis, then this is your sign to start. AI does make your life a lot easier in a lot of ways. So once you have ChatGPT open, ask yourself what the timeline is. So do you want to plan for a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or even 15 years from now? And then imagine yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. And you want to close your eyes, think about what you're seeing, what you're feeling, what you're hearing, what you're surrounded by, and you want to hold on to that and then put that into ChatGPT. So write out 5 years from now, I'm waking up in my new house, I'm living in this city, my walls are this color, I'm wearing these clothes. When you wake up and look outside your window, is there a view? What is the view? Is it a city? Is it a lake? Is it the ocean? Is it a mountain? You want to get as detailed as possible. If you know what you want 5 years from now, then that's perfect. Put that into ChatGPT. So the main goal here is to imagine the version of yourself that has achieved everything that you want in this timeline. Whatever your big goal is right now, imagine that you've already accomplished it. So whatever your goal is right now, something that you're working towards, if you're working towards climbing the corporate ladder, imagine 5 years from now, that's what your life is like. And then you want to put in prompts into ChatGPT that describe what your future is looking like at this very moment. And then the second thing that you'll want to do is everything that you visualized about your morning, you want to write that out. Mentally walk through your morning routine, what it looks like. What do you eat for breakfast? Are you working out in the morning? Are you calling your family? Do you live with your family? Do you have a family of your own? You want to write out those things into ChatGPT because that is what the future version of yourself already has, and the current version of yourself is working towards that. You also want to talk about how you feel. Do you feel relaxed when you wake up in the morning? Are you excited for the day? Are you looking forward to working on a certain project? Are you looking forward to seeing somebody special that day? You also want to talk about going back to the day in the life as my future self exercise. You also want to talk about how you start your day. So any routines that you have in mind. So for example, you want to journal for 5 minutes every single morning. You want to meditate. If you're religious, you will pray in the morning. You also want to include those things into your ChatGPT prompts. So once you're done with that, it's time to move on to the third prompt. So the third prompt is outlining your work or daily activities. So what does the day look like after you've completed your morning routine? Do you have your own business? Are you working your dream job? Have you gotten that promotion that you were striving for 5 years ago? So put yourself in your future self's shoes and think about what your workday would look like, what your routine looks like once you finish your morning routine. In all aspects of this entire exercise, you want to think about what the ideal version of your day looks like. So if it's a sunny day, if you have your own office, if you decorated your office a certain way. For example, if it's a Monday and you always replace the flowers in your desk with fresh flowers, you also want to include those things. And aside from the environment, you also want to talk about what type of projects you're working on. You want to talk about your workday in as much detail as you possibly can. You're also going to include who you interact with. For example, if you and your siblings want to start a business together, then you'll include that you're working with them. If you want to start a business with your best friend, you're also going to be talking about your relationship with them, how excited you are to see them, how accomplished you feel. The more that you talk about your happy feelings in this, the more real it feels. The more you talk about how happy you are, how accomplished you feel, how hard you've worked to get this to this very moment, the better I feel output ChatGPT will give you. So make sure that you include those things. Take your time to think about this and be as detailed as possible. You also want to talk about how you're contributing to or making an impact. The version of yourself 5 years ago, you might have wanted to inspire people. Maybe you're giving a motivational talk. Maybe you've become a TEDx speaker. Maybe you have your own podcast and you're inspiring many people. Maybe you have your own women in tech group, something along those lines. You want to talk about how your success is making an impact. And in the Slight Edge book, he also brings up Will Smith and how Will Smith says, if you're not making an impact, there's really no point of all the hard work that you've put in. And I think that is a great way to kind of align your goals along with how you're making an impact. So the fourth prompt is to focus on your personal life and relationships. And I know it's so easy to get caught up in associating success with wealth or your business or where you are in your career, but you do have a life outside of that. And you want to make sure that you include that in your day in my life exercise. So you want to also include your life outside of work. So what do your relationships look like? Who are you surrounded by? Who do you care about? Who do you spend time with? How are you spending your weekends? And you also want to really go into detail about how you feel in your interactions. Do you feel fulfilled in your relationships? Are you have you worked on your relationship with certain people that are in your life, and how does that feel for you? And at this point, it's also very important to visualize any hobbies or any routines that you have to unwind from your workday. The most successful people have a life outside of their work. They have a hobby. They have many hobbies actually. So you also want to make sure that you include that after your workday. So take some time to think about this. Maybe it's a hobby that you already have. Are you a painter? Do you want to paint more? Do you want to start running your own art classes? Are you someone who loves to read and one day you want to write your own book? So you also want to talk about how you're going to take those daily steps in your everyday routine to get to where you want to be. And again, talk about how you feel. So if you're someone who plays a sport, you should talk about how excited you are to see your team. You are excited to practice with them. You're excited to make it to the finals. You're excited for a new jersey or a new color that your team gear is coming out with. And number 6 is ending the day in reflection. So this is something that I've been recently getting into in the last 1 to 2 years, I want to say. It's when I also journal at night instead of just journaling in the morning and then waiting until the next morning. As I've noticed that especially if my day was extra stressful or if one thing didn't go according to my plan, it kind of helps me put into perspective, okay, did I really just have a bad day, or did I just have one moment that I fixated on throughout the day and it brought my mood down? And this helps me really put things into perspective. For example, if I thought I had a really bad day, but it was just one moment that happened early on in my day, and then I kind of fixated on it throughout my day, and when I write it down in my journal, I just think to myself, okay, it wasn't that the whole day was bad. It was just I thought I messed up in one meeting, and then I tend to just bring myself down for the rest of the day. So it also helps you become more aware of your emotions and how you can control those throughout your day so that you're not fixating on the small things. So by ending the day in reflection, you want to think about how you feel as your day ends. Do you feel good? Do you feel excited for the rest of the week? Is there something else that you want to work on? Talk about how you unwind. Are you someone that reads? Are you someone that meditates? Do you practice yoga? Do you go for a walk with your family? There's a beach behind your house. Do you go for walks there? Do you have a dog? Do you take your dog for a walk at the end of the day, and that's how you unwind? And the most important part of this is to reflect on how you're feeling. What sense of satisfaction are you feeling? What feelings of accomplishment are you currently experiencing? You want to include those in this prompt as well. So you want to reflect on the emotions you feel while you're living your dream life, your sense of fulfillment and your attitude about it all, and your gratitude about it. You should say, I'm so grateful for my house in California that I've bought with my hard-earned money from my business that I started 5 years ago. So you go into way more detail than that, talk about your day, talk about your family, talk about your personal relationships that you have outside of work. Okay, so now that you're done, you want to hit enter, and then you will get a day in the life as my future self, and it'll tell you a story. So take some time to read that story. You might be feeling a lot of emotions at this point. So the main goal of this exercise is to give you a heightened sense of purpose, and it also helps you get very clear on your goals, especially if you're someone who works a typical 9 to 5, or if you're a student and you kind of don't know and your everyday kind of blurs in together and you feel like you're not really doing much, but you actually are. By doing this exercise, you are able to see, okay, so the small habits I start today, 5 years from now, this is the effect that it's going to have. It will give you a new sense of motivation. When I did it, I feel like it really helped put things into perspective. And additionally, it also helps you identify the actions that you need to do now to get to where you want to be. So by filling out these prompts and imagining your future self, you're able to identify the gaps between your current self and your future self. So that's also another reason to do this. You'll be more motivated to make the daily choices that will get you where you want to be in life. So that's it when it comes to the day in the life as my future self exercise on ChatGPT. And what I did is I took it one more step further, and I said identify a morning routine that will help me get there, or a night routine that will help me get there as well. And because I'm a morning person, I asked ChatGPT, give me a morning routine that will help me become this future version of myself starting today. And I noticed that it told me when I should start waking up, the things that I need to be doing in my morning routine that will help me get closer to my goals. And I noticed a lot of these things that I was already doing, or I thought I would just do here and there just because I would think that it's not making a difference, but it actually does. The small habits that you start today do compound over time. And this is what they talk about in The Slight Edge, where he says, happy actions and the slight edge applied will equal success. The one thing that I learned from doing this prompt is that I'm not prioritizing exercise as much as I'd like to in my ideal version of myself. My main takeaway from that morning routine that I put into ChatGPT was to was to exercise in the morning, because then it's out of the way. I'm a morning person. That's when my energy is the highest. And the first few days I might not feel good about it, but then after a while it does kick in, and then you look forward to that morning workout. So that was something that I learned. And that's pretty much it for this video. And if you have a chance to try out the day in the life as my future self exercise on ChatGPT, feel free to comment below. Let me know what happened. Let me know if it gave you anything new, if you were surprised by what the outcome was, if you like doing it, whatever your thoughts are. Feel free to comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.